Good evening. It's a wonderful night here in the great city of Columbus. It may be a little rainy and dreary outside, but nothing but positive energy and a great chance for us to celebrate some amazing people who have made this beautiful experiment that is Columbus, some 207 years old, a little stronger, a little better. Couldn't be more excited than I am tonight to celebrate some of our incredible neighbors. First, I'd like to invite Pastor Reverend Davis of Trinity Baptist Church to put our hearts and minds in the right place with a little prayer to start us off. Pastor Davis.
Shall we stand? God, on this another day that you've made, we acknowledge you as the supreme being of all things. We are grateful to you for the sun, for the darkness of the night, and even for the rain that falls today. For the assurance is that because you are all powerful and all knowing, that even after the rain, the sun will shine again. Shine on our city. Shine on our elected officials. Shine on those that will be inducted tonight into this Hall of Fame, and shine on those whose memory and legacy we celebrate. We appreciate you in so many ways, and we ask for your spirit to continue to abide with us. In the name of the He who sits high and looks low, my Savior, we say amen.
Thank you, Pastor Davis, and to all who have joined us here this evening. We say welcome and thank you. To the Lincoln Theater and to all of our nominees, and especially our recipients, we say thank you to our great partner, our City Council President, Shannon Hardin, City Councilmember Priscilla Tyson, our City Auditor, Megan Kilgore. We have also some neighbors from suburban communities here tonight. Worthington Mayor Scott Holmes, Worthington City Councilwoman Bonnie Michael, and our great judge, Burley Cochran. Thanks to all of you for being here this evening, and a special thank you to the incredible staff and team and volunteers at the Lincoln Institution of Greatness and Diversity in our city. It seems so fitting to have this event here, especially since this room is named after one of the people we're honoring here today. I would also like to add a warm welcome to our inductees, their families, and friends. It's events like this that remind me that what makes this city, this community so special are people and the neighborhoods that are growing and thriving because of them. The Columbus Hall of Fame honors outstanding individuals who, through exemplary accomplishments, have gained recognition for themselves and have brought credit to this city. We have honorees in just about every professional field, from fine arts to football to faith. Past recipients include Amina Robinson, one of the country's most prolific artists, an Ohio State football great and Heisman Trophy winner, Howard Hopalong Cassidy, who passed away earlier this year. In all, there are 67 people in the Columbus Hall of Fame, and after our ceremony this evening, there will be 71. Great things happen in this city because of collaboration. I am pleased to introduce a great collaborator, a leader that helps our city reach new heights every day, our council president, Shannon Hardin.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Without your leadership, without your team's hard work, fielding the many applications for this year's inductees, we would not be here today. Certainly like to thank the Lincoln Theater and all those who keep this side of town vibrant with the work that you do each and every day. Certainly want to recognize my colleagues. I see Councilmember Shayla Favor that is with us, Councilmember Mitch Brown, who is with us, and you will soon hear from my colleague, Councilmember Priscilla Tyson. I also would like to recognize Megan Kilgore, who is here, and to Bishop Ross, who's also here. And let me stop now because I'll get in trouble as I look out in the crowd, so I will stop right there. But thank you and welcome. I'd like to offer our sincere congratulations to Mr. Jim Lorimer, to Ms. Donna James, to Ms. Helen Jenkins Davis and her family, and to my pastor, the Reverend Dr. Charles Edward Booth, and our First Lady of Mount Olivet Baptist Church, Ms. Krista Washington Booth, and certainly to my church family. In 1993, the legendary preacher, Dr. Gardner C. Taylor, delivered the Morehouse Baccalaureate, and in that speech, he asked the question, who will bring the water to a dry and thirsty land? I've said this before, but I believe the depths of my heart that Dr. Booth was that water, not just for my congregation, but for this community. All of our honorees, actually, whether in the pulpit or in the classroom, in elected office or in the boardroom, all of our honorees have brought meaning and hope to our great city. A few weeks ago, I had the great honor to give the keynote at the Ohio Civil Rights Hall of Fame induction, and I thought about the importance of telling the stories of those inductees. My friend June Gutterman, the longtime CEO of Columbus Jewish Family Services, once told me, she said, Shannon, in the Jewish community, we don't have history, we have memories. You see, history is separate. It's something that happened to someone else some long time ago. But memories are ours because we're a part of them. It's critical to have memories, to see ourselves in the work, to commit ourselves to the values of these inductees and what they embody, so that we can either join shoulder to shoulder with these inductees, or for those that are no longer with us, that we can pick up where they left off. Through this induction ceremony today, we're not just honoring the decades of accomplishments by these towering figures, we're also cementing our community's memories and cementing our commitment to those values these inductees live for. Thank you, and God bless.
Thank you, President Hardin. Now is the time we've all been waiting for, the inductions. Our inductees today into the Columbus Hall of Fame are the late Reverend Dr. Charles E. Booth, the late Helen Jenkins Davis, Donna A. James, and Jim Lorimer. To say a few words about the Reverend Dr. Charles Booth, please welcome Bishop Timothy Clark from the First Church of God.
To our mayor and city council president, to all of our elected officials in their respective places, and to these who are being honored both in heritage and in hope, as well as those who are here with us on tonight. It was William Shakespeare who said that the evil men do often lives on after them, while the good that men do is often interred with their bones. Tonight, we come to ensure, to guarantee, and to vouchsafe to future generations that at least for once in his life, Bill was wrong. By honoring these men and women, noble of character, tremendously gifted, and so generous with their time, we ensure that at least for them, the good that they have done and the good that some of them will continue to do is never interred with their bones. That is certainly true of he who is the first inductee on tonight. It is interesting, perhaps even providential that we gather tonight just 1 week after a man he greatly admired and who greatly admired him was laid to rest, Congressman Elijah Cummings, two proud Baltimore natives. Our nation rightly paused last week to celebrate the life, the living, and what now has become the legacy of Congressman Cummings. Since March, all of us, those who sat under his ministry, those who Sandra bore his name, Crystal and Kelly, those who had his heart, and those Bishop and Mother Ross who were blessed to call him friend and brother. Since March, we have groped through our pain to make sense in approximating what we have lost. We cannot actually put a figure to it, and we cannot really define it or describe it, except to say the landscape has greatly been altered. When tall trees fall, the forest is less. And what tall timber Charles Edward Booth was. He looked like a prince, he spoke like a poet, and he stood like a prophet. And this city is the better because Baltimore sent one of her favorite sons. Our lives are richer, our lives are fuller. The kingdom goes further because, in his own words, Charles means tall and gallant because he was tall and gallant. Unashamedly, unapologetically, unabashedly black and Christian because he lifted his voice like a trumpet. Our world is better. We miss him deeply. We mourn for him greatly, but we are comforted in knowing we will see him again. Scholar, shepherd, son, seer, preacher, prophet, pastor, man, minister, child of God, Charles Edward Booth. And now his lovely lady, wife and widow, Sister Crystal Washington Booth comes.
Good evening. On behalf of the family, I'm honored to accept this award from my husband, the late Reverend Dr. Charles E. Booth. To Mayor Ginther, a special thank you for recognizing his contributions to the city of Columbus. He considered you a friend and often spoke about the fire in your drive and, more importantly, the consistent, genuine, honest way that you engage the African Americans and the faith community, not just during election time. To the other honorees, congratulations on your induction into the Hall of Fame. I count it an honor and a privilege that Dr. Booth is being inducted with you. Though a native of Baltimore, Maryland, he considered Columbus his home. For 41 years, he pastored Mount Olivet Baptist Church and always said that his church would always reside in downtown Columbus. He felt that it was important to have a visible African-American church in the footprint of the city to ensure that the pulse of the community would always be at arm's reach. It was the same zeal that was the driving force in the creation of the Gloria S Friend Academy. My husband knew that education was key and focused on developing a strong curriculum that would prepare his students academically, culturally, and socially. In the Bible, Luke 12:48 reads, From everyone to whom much has been given, much will be required, and from the one to whom much has been entrusted, even more will be demanded. This is the life that Dr. Booth lived and to me reflects why this honor is being bestowed to him. In his final days, he continued with the same drive to lead his church, support his community, and to raise funds for the Gloria S. Friend Christian Academy. He did not let his health slow down helping and supporting others. Though hospitalized and an uncertain prognosis, he took the time to call Mayor Ginther to share his thoughts on some pending concerns in the city and to express that he wasn't able to attend an upcoming committee meeting. He reached out to the late Honorable Elijah Cummings to review the final details for Mr. Cummings' keynote address for the 25th anniversary of the Gloria S. Friend Academy. His health continued to deteriorate, and in ICU, he instructed me to hold the computer so he could review a final presentation to support the church expanding their footprint with the property purchase. And to God be the glory, his final act was writing the topic for his next sermon. This is the man who exemplified "too much is given, much is required," and why this induction means so much to his biological family. His sister Sandra traveled from Baltimore, our daughter's here, and other family members. It was important to the church family, and it was important to me. Dr. Booth will be honored and will be standing tall and strong to accept this induction. I'm grateful to be the vessel standing to accept it on his behalf. Again, thank you, Mayor Ginther. We are honored that the legacy of Dr. Booth will remain alive and has been recorded for generations to come.
Three of our inductees tonight I had or have direct personal professional relationships with, and I've had the great opportunity to tell them directly how I feel about them and their incredible contributions to our community. Our next inductee I knew of but did not know. She went home to God when I was 12 years old. Helen Jenkins Davis. An incredible story that we'll hear from her niece here tonight, but I think to myself growing up in Columbus, kid from Clintonville, and the experiences I had at Brentnell and Indianola and Dominion and Whetstone, the incredible lifelong friends I met from neighborhoods that I would have never met had it not been for the courage of Helen Jenkins Davis. Because it wasn't just important to her that African American children had the same facilities and access to opportunity. It was also very important to her that children that looked like me knew that African Americans could lead schools, teach incredible children, run small businesses, practice law and accounting. And so I would have never had the educators I had in Columbus City Schools had it not been for Helen Jenkins Davis, including the best teacher I ever had in my entire life, even having professors from Harvard and Oxford and all these fancy places in ivory towers around the world. I had Mrs. Ruth Hale in the 4th grade at Brentnell Elementary School. I never worked harder. Never, ever worked harder. She was the much better half to Dr. Frank Hale, academic giant at the University of Nebraska, Ohio State, and so many other places in between. Would have never had her as a teacher in that critical year, 4th grade year at Brentnell, without Helen Jenkins Davis, or Julian DeCello, or Beverly Hughes, or Earl Rembert. incredible teachers along my path in Columbus City Schools that, in large part, in addition to my family, made me who I am and helped me better understand our neighborhoods and the disparities that exist still in our city that we wake up every day working to address. So I never got to tell her personally, but I just told you why Helen Jenkins Davis is being inducted into the Columbus Hall of Fame this evening. Please welcome her niece, Donna Bates Price.
Good evening to the mayor of the city of Columbus, to the city council members, and to guests. I just want to say, first of all, that I am a native of Columbus, Ohio, and I've traveled here from Baltimore, Maryland, where I've lived for over 40 plus years. And I do know many stories about Dr. Booth. I am the great niece of Helen Jenkins Davis. Helen Beatrice Jenkins was born July 28, 1894, the 12th child of 13 children, to Sally and William George Billy Jenkins. She departed this life on June 28, 1987, at the age of 93. Her father was born a slave in 1849. After the Civil War and slaves were freed, he came to Jamestown, Ohio, where he married Sally. Helen was born in Columbus, Ohio, and grew up on Spring Street. She was an active member of Second Baptist Church until her death. Helen Jenkins graduated in the top 5% of her class at the Columbus Normal School. She also attended The Ohio State University and Capital University. Because of discriminatory practices in the public educational system, she had to wait approximately 2 years before being appointed to teach in the Columbus Public Schools in 1918. One of her early assignments was at the Spring Street School. She was among one of the first African-American teachers in an integrated school. Her teaching career spanned 37 years, and she retired in 1954. Helen Jenkins married Raymond Davis, a physical therapist, in January of 1932, and was divorced after 23 years of marriage. She and her husband built one of the early homes at the Lucy Dep, in addition north of O'Shaughnessy Dam. The land had belonged to the free slave Dep for over 100 years. In 1976, Helen Davis was the lead witness to testify in federal court before the Honorable Judge Duncan in a discrimination lawsuit against the Columbus Public Schools. She spoke of the inequality of teacher assignments and unequal distribution of books and supplies in schools which were predominantly African American. Aunt Helen, as she was known to her family, was a woman who was truly ahead of her time. She believed that there were no limits to the things that she or that we could do. Her motto was that all things are possible if you educate and expose yourself to knowledge. She loved being an educator, and the family joked that she was always teaching. A woman ahead of her time, she would cruise the Caribbean on luxury ships and often vacationed at the then popular Lake Resort in Idlewild, Michigan. She would return from these trips with pictures, books, records, and many stories which she would share with us, so that we could be exposed to things that others knew nothing about. She took us on trips, and we had to write reports. She took us to special events in Columbus, such as luncheons and concerts, and we would dress in our finest clothes. We needed to be exposed and to learn. In the mid-50s, she decided that she wanted to live on the West Coast, so she moved to Los Angeles, California, where she resided for several years. Later, she returned to Columbus and purchased a home in the Shepherd neighborhood. She sold her home and moved to the Jenkins Tower, where she was one of the first residents. She resided here until her death. Always the educator, she schooled many of the residents on healthy eating habits and shared stories and artifacts from her many travels. Aunt Helen lived a clean and a healthy life. She grew many of her own vegetables, which she often entered in the Ohio State Fair. She ate a very healthy diet and had a great knowledge about vitamins and herbs and could tell you all of the benefits. Her healthy lifestyle benefited her as she lived to be 93 years old and was in good health until the end of her life. She is remembered for her love of children, strict discipline, and delightful sense of humor. She seemed very stern, But in theory, she wanted her students and her family to learn as much as possible. Her love for teaching and educating students has a long history in her family. Aunt Helen's grandfather was a teacher, as was her niece, my mother, who taught Louise Bates, who taught school in the Columbus Public Schools for 34 years. And currently, her great-great-nephew, Harold Bates, is a teacher in the Columbus Public Schools. Today, Helen Jenkins Davis is honored to have a scholarship named in her honor. It is the Helen Jenkins Davis Scholarship. This scholarship was started by a group of retired African-American female educators in Columbus, Ohio, in 1987, who began meeting for lunch and called themselves the Lunch Bunch. Scholarships are awarded to deserving African-American seniors in the Columbus City Schools to assist them in attending college. In addition, the Columbus Education Association gives an award each year in her name to an African-American teacher in the Columbus Public Schools. Aunt Helen would be so proud and honored to know that she is being inducted into the City of Columbus Hall of Fame. I believe that she would not see it so much as a tribute to her, but a tribute to the many people that she taught and the many experiences she shared throughout her years in and out of the classroom. On behalf of her, my brother, Wiley Bates, and the family, thank you for this honor. And I would like to recognize the family members who are present, if they could just stand. Thank you.
Incredible story of courage, of vision, of resiliency. Reminds you of history and its teachings in search of a more perfect union. We are who we are today and who we are becoming because of Helen Jenkins Davis. Our next award recipient is Donna James, who I believe has had more careers than any person I have ever met in my life, but has become an incredible co-instigator with me on raising the issue of infant mortality and disparities in our neighborhoods. And in large part, the work that we've done and the path she has put us on as a community makes her an incredible asset for families and children and companies throughout this community. And I am so excited that my colleague, Councilmember Priscilla Tyson, will be introducing Donna James. Councilmember.
Good evening. We are here to honor individuals whose lives have significantly impacted our community. Each of us is put on earth to humbly serve. And serve she has. I have the distinct honor to introduce Donna A. James. And it's only fitting for us to have this event in an auditorium that is named after Larry and Donna James. When I was asked to introduce Donna, I personally am honored and somewhat overwhelmed. When I think about the contributions that Donna has made to this community. First and foremost, Donna is a business leader. She is a trusted advisor. Many people in this room have had the honor of sitting with Donna, and when you sit with Donna, she's going to give you honest, thoughtful information to move you forward. She is someone that the private sector and the public sector wants to have conversations with because of her experience. Donna retired from Nationwide Strategic Investments as the president. She served for 25 years. She serves on private, publicly held boards. And if you know anything about being on a private, publicly held board, there aren't too many people of color that serve on those boards. And Donna she serves, but she's also opened the door for more women and men of color to serve so that our issues are heard by those corporations. She is a community leader. She is the co-founder and former board chair of the Center for Healthy Families. This organization is focused on working with young people, girls and boys, who are having children in our community, making sure that the girls get all the resources that they need to move forward. And based upon her work, young people are having healthy babies, young people are continuing with their education in high school and then going to college. She also serves on the nonprofit board of Ohio Health, again, making a difference for people of color, for women, for all in healthcare. Donna went to North Carolina A&T, and she currently serves on the board. Every year, students that are going to be attending North Carolina A&T, she hosts an event to make sure those young people have all the resources that they need to be successful. And she stays in contact with these young people. She is also the co-executive director of the African American Leadership Academy. She understands the importance of the next generation that will be in positions of leadership, and she wants to make sure that they understand the issues that we face as people of color, and to be able to share those issues with the greater community, the greater leadership of our community. As the mayor stated, Donna has been his partner for Celebrate One. She made sure that, and she made sure, working with the mayor, that the issues that are facing our children, babies who are dying before their first birthday, and the majority of those kids, 2 to 3 times more than Caucasian children or Black children died. And Donna has made sure, working with our mayor, that that was not going to continue in our community. And anyone that knows Donna knows that she loves the arts. And again, that's why we're standing in this room today. Donna also loves her family. Now, if you know Donna, it's almost hard to even say her name without saying Donna and Larry. Donna and Larry. You don't even have to think about their last name because you know who they are. Donna loves her husband, They are a wonderful team. They have done incredible work for this community. But she also is a mother of two, Christopher and Justin, who she loves, a grandmother of 5, and certainly her extended family, her sister-in-law, brother-in-law, if you think about their family, it's all of them. It is, and they're all here. What I love about Donna is she's also a woman of faith. Donna is kind, she's honest, she's caring, she's respectful, she's thankful, she's courageous, she's unselfish, she's a survivor, she's optimistic, she's humble, she's a friend, she's persistent, she's a giver of her time and her resources. The community is better because of Donna A. James. And if you look at the program, it's a snapshot of what she has accomplished. And I only had 2 minutes, so I couldn't go over all of it, everything that she has done. But what I will say before I bring Donna up, I think about Proverbs 31:30. A woman who fears the Lord is to be praised. And so it is tonight that we honor this dynamic woman who fears the Lord and loves the Lord, to honor her with this award. And it is my pleasure to bring Donna A. James to this podium.
Thank you. These are tough moments, but they're also the best moments. I wish I could put it in a bottle and carry it with me forever. I'll just have to hold it in my heart and in my memories. There's a quote that I thought about and wanted to share as part of this evening, because I think it is an example of a common theme in everything I've tried to do or be a part of, and it's been the engine and part of the energy of making the right things happen the right way, and sometimes making the wrong things happen, but learning from them. And the quote is, "If you want to go fast, go alone. If you want to go far, go together." Many of the things that I've been a part of, I've been a partner in, and I could not have accomplished them without the engagement and support of others. So I really humbly stand here in gratitude to the mayor and to all of you for giving me the opportunity to be acknowledged as a part of so many wonderful things. I want to thank a few key people, and I will get in trouble, so forgive me if I've missed you. And Larry, forgive me for not starting off with you. But one person who's not here, and other than God, she is watching over me every day and every move I make in every moment. Her name is Burley Cochran. She is my wonderful assistant. Without her for the past 15 years, I would not have been able to juggle the things that I juggle, be the places I need to be, and be prepared for the things that I need to be prepared for. She is a true partner in support. I also want to thank my husband, Larry. We celebrated 30 years of marriage on Monday. And it has gone so fast. It has been a phenomenal 30 years. I find it hard to say that. He is my partner, my lover, my co-conspirator in all things good, and my very best friend. I also have to thank all of my co-founders and the leaders of many initiatives, and I won't be able to name them all. One group that has been there and been behind me and us at every step of the way is a family that I call family, and it's the Crab-Brown James family. Many of the things, whether it's the Center for Healthy Families or the African American Leadership Academy, that group, they've shown up, they've been there, they've been supportive, and I am so grateful for what they do for the community and what they do to support the work. I want to thank Tashia Safford and Jewel Garrison at the Center for Healthy Families. They helped me get that started. The focus on pregnant and parenting teens, it's a need. And it's not just because I was a teen mother and I understand what they've gone through. That informed the work, but the work really came about when two social workers approached me after I retired from Nationwide to share a challenge they saw in the community. That was Latonga Hoover and Marcia White. They identified this issue, wanted something done, and I put my magical brain to work and my understanding on problem solving, and we came up with a collaborative, the Center for Healthy Families. Again, there's nothing you can do worthwhile that you can do alone. I also want to thank Mike Fiorelli, Erica Clark-Jones, Leanne Eagle, Kathy Little, and Mayor Ginther, who I call Sparky. I call him Sparky because I see him as the spark that ignited the fire of focus on infant mortality and on our neighborhoods. And I am very grateful to him for that and for the opportunity to be part of a collaborative to drive change there. I also want to thank Mo Wright, Yvette McGee Brown, Warren Tyler, Janet Jackson, Bo Chilton, Larry James, Don Vickers, and there were a few others. These were the founding folks and the folks who are helping today to make sure the African American Leadership Academy is not just a one-time initiative. We're in our 16th year of what I call a stealth strategy of building diversity and building a pipeline of leaders who are African American in this community, so that when we are called upon, we have others to go to, and not just the usual, what we call suspects of the folks that most people know. There are hundreds of talented individuals in this community, and what we do is to make sure they are more than ready for their best next, but they can see their best next and therefore move in that direction, not just for the benefit of themselves, but for this wonderful greater community and for their individual family communities. My family and my friends who are like family, many of you are here tonight, and I'm looking at my granddaughter, Trinity. She is a big part of my inspiration and my heart, even though I don't get to see her as much, and my son hates it when I talk about her desire to go to where I went to college. It's okay, sweet pea, if that's where you want to go to school, that's where you're going. But I thank her and him and all of our grandchildren, my nieces, my in-laws, my outlaws, because some of them are outlaws, for their love and support. And I especially want to thank my mother. I am everything I am because she and God loved me first. Thank you.
Thank you, Donna, for all, and to the James family for sharing Donna with all of us. We are grateful for all that you have and will continue to do to change lives and change stories here in Columbus. Our final inductee, I think of Jim Lorimer. And I think about Columbus in, say, 1950. We were 250,000 people, and I think had very rightfully earned the nickname Cowtown. We are not that Columbus anymore. And in large part, it's because of incredible leaders like Jim that dared to dream and had a vision for Columbus. We just hosted in August the American Society of Association Executives. It's coined the Super Bowl of conferences and conventions. It will earn this community over $500 million of realized economic impact over the next decade. And I think about Jim Lorimer. We would have never contemplated that. Did you know that the Arnold Sports Expo, of course, the first weekend in March every year for decades, that there are more people that come to Columbus from foreign countries than are represented in the Olympics? Sounds like a place for a great international city to continue its trajectory. Did you know that there are more female competitors than male? The Honored Sports Expo, I think for the last 3 years, a key vision of Jim's. You know, Jim Lorimer believed in Columbus before we believed in ourselves. And in large part, the great success we've had of becoming a national city with international aspirations is because of his vision. He taught a boy from Austria to fall in love with Columbus. And someone who committed to both me and former Mayor Coleman that the Arnold will never leave Columbus because of Jim and his incredible leadership. So friends, it is with great honor I introduce Bob Lorimer, who will tell us a little bit more about why his father is our fourth inductee tonight. Please welcome Bob Lorimer.
Good evening. My father grew up in what's called the greatest generation. He has lived through the Great Depression, a war, and 16 presidents. At 93, he still comes to work 365 days a year. His passion is his purpose. He exuberates passion in everything he does. He is very understanding and has tons of empathy for others. At 93, he has still outlived everyone he has known from high school to college. He loves to say, wherever I go, it's my class reunion. My father is loyal to a fault. He values loyalty over profit or proficiency. He is always there for everyone, and he trusts everyone he meets. He is there for advice or just to listen. He has had a very positive effect in some way on every person he has ever met. My father is a very well-read person on most subjects. One of Shakespeare's quotes he lives by is, "The greatest joy is in the doing." But Dad says for us, life is simple. You get out of life directly what you put in. He has worked out vigorously his whole life. He founded the first nationwide corporate fitness center, pioneering corporate fitness centers worldwide. His mottos are, you need to use your brain and your physical body or it will not work. So use it or lose it. And second, he says, always strive to do better than your previous best. His best friend in life is Arnold Schwarzenegger. When you ask Arnold what his secrets of life are, he will tell you, sleep faster, you can't get ahead in bed. Give back, no one man stands alone. It takes a team to be strong. And get off the couch and exercise. My father has practiced these principles his whole life too, and it's remarkable how close my father and Arnold are in their beliefs, and it is no surprise why they are best friends. What matters most in life when you look back at 93 years of age and you can say, I have no regrets. Dad is even prepared for his own death, so much that he has already installed his own tombstone. On it, it says, I'm not afraid to die, I just don't want to be there when it happens. What is most amazing to me is my father could have been inducted into the Hall of Fame 4 times over for his lifetime of achievements. For the founding of the Ohio Girls Track Club and its pioneering a promotion of women's sports and the Title IX movement. For his incredible 38 years career in government relations at Nationwide Insurance. For a career in public service, including 52 years as mayor or vice mayor of the city of Worthington. And for the creation of the Arnold Sports Festival, now the largest multi-sport festival in the world and on 6 continents. But loyalty is his #1 priority. He has been loyal to his family, friends, and the city of Columbus, Ohio for the past 60 years. They say greatness comes from the legacy you leave, but in my humble opinion, he deserves to be on the wall amongst these other great citizens of Columbus that have been honored over the years and for those that are being honored here tonight. I encourage you to reach out and say hello to Jim Lorimer. You won't be impressed, just like all those that have had the privilege of knowing him. But to me, it's an even greater privilege, and that is to call him my father. Congratulations to all the great inductees here tonight, and best wishes from the entire Lorimer family. Now, please give a please give a warm welcome to my father, James Jasper Lorimer.
Well, I think I should stop right there. Bob did a great job. I can't top it. But you should know that he just got off a plane 2 hours ago, coming from Dubai. He has been in Dubai for the last week. And he is setting the stage for an Arnold Sports Festival presentation in that nation. And all of our international events are headquartered here in Columbus. I first want to thank Mayor Ginther and his staff for this special honor and recognition. There was no greater good fortune in my life than upon joining Nationwide Insurance in the late 1950s to have that great community-focused company offer me a home office opportunity in Columbus, Ohio. Having had some experience living elsewhere in my service and FBI background, now 3 generations of my family have learned that we live in one of the greatest cities anywhere in the world. Columbus is, across the board, a great living and life-loving experience. I want to take this opportunity to recognize and express my sincere gratitude for the fact that Columbus and its great leadership have encouraged and supported the annual hosting of the Arnold Sports Festival, which has now become the largest multi-sport event in our nation. Over 5 decades of growth, we now have 22,000 athletes competing in more than 80 different sports and events. Athletes and visitors from every state and from 70 nations visit and enjoy Columbus. Some 200 sports leaders, a huge medical team, great law enforcement support, logistical support for over 100,000 visitors, combine each year to make the sports festival possible and an important sports-focused attraction for our city. While individual recognition is not possible, we have had for 5 decades a series of top leaders, multi-term mayors who have been most supportive in marshaling the resources and providing hands-on leadership. The last 2 decades of substantial growth of the Arnold Sports Festival have been significantly advantaged by the special mayoral interest of Mayors Michael Coleman and Mayor Andrew Ginther. We thank them and their predecessors for their great leadership and support. My sports promotion pathway began 60 years ago. It was motivated by my concern that on the international sports competitive stage, the lack of sports opportunity for women was resulting in our U.S. Olympic sports teams not performing well. Through a story of some length, I formed an Ohio Track Club girls team that became a national championship team. That led to the promotion of national championships in track and field, and later to sports promotions in weightlifting and bodybuilding. These latter promotions resulted in my partnership with Arnold Schwarzenegger. And that partnership has led to the scope of this Arnold Sports Festival in Columbus, as well as to expansion on 5 continents. Arnold's latest movie, I will give him a plug, starts tomorrow in this town, Friday. It's called Terminator Dark Fate. It's the sixth Terminator movie. And as you may have heard too, Arnold had to move out of his house the last 2 days. In his neighborhood where LeBron James also lives, they both had to move out of their homes because of the fire. The fact is that witnessing how meaningful the opportunity to compete in sports has been to the lives of the Ohio Track Club girls team motivated me to continue in the field of sports promotion. The lessons of sports are many. You learn that you get back out of all aspects of life in direct proportion to what you put in. Several members of the Ohio Track Club girls team are here this evening. We started 60 years ago with 12 girls, and we recently had the 60th anniversary of that team. But all of these women, pre-Title IX, were graduated from college. There were 6 master's degrees, 3 PhDs, and 1 Harvard Law School graduate. From the Ohio Track Club, and I want to ask the Ohio Track Club girls, I think they're sitting over here in my group there, if they would just stand and be recognized, please. From the Ohio Track Club to the Arnold Sports Festival, again, has made a tremendous difference in the lives now of thousands of people who are participating from around the country. Ladies and gentlemen, tomorrow is Halloween. And this has special meaning for my family. At a high school football team Halloween party 78 years ago, we played a game called Wink. The boys sat in a circle, and the girls, mostly cheerleaders, stood outside the circle. If a girl winked at a boy, and he winked back, they had to kiss. A beautiful 14-year-old cheerleader winked at me, and I winked back. We have been going steady for 78 years. And have been married for 70 years. Her love and support through our life's long adventure together has made this recognition this evening possible. Please join me in thanking my life's love and partner and world's best winker, On behalf of my wife, my family, and the great Arnold Sports Festival team, thank you for this honor.
Incredible storytelling. Hold on. Now you know why I have the best job in the best city in all of America. It is the incredible people of Columbus. Sports, faith, education, community and corporate stewardship and leadership. Be remiss if I didn't recognize one of our former inductees, the incredible Bishop Jerome Ross and First Lady Ross. Thank you for being here tonight. So a great night to celebrate some amazing and wonderful people and contributions. Families that have changed our course of history over the last 207 years together. Incredible inspirations for what the next 207 years will be like in this great place. A place where we never settle and we're never satisfied with the way things were or the way things are, but for the way they ought to be. Thank you all for joining us here tonight. I would like to ask all of our inductees and those that introduced them to stick around for just a minute because Shelley Fisher won't let me out of here without a great picture. Thank you all for being here tonight, and thank you for joining us.